What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Absolutely April, here for another reality recap. We are talking about Ready to Love. I'm going to combine reunions part one and part two together. I didn't get to do it last week. Like I told you, my son was sick, so I wasn't able to, do, the normal things that I would do because I was taking care of my little boy. So everything is all good in the hood now. So I'm going to just talk about part one and part two. I'm not going to do a recap, so to speak. It's going to be kind of like just talking about some things that came up as I saw it. And as usual, comment down below, interact with me, tell me some of your opinions. Before we get started with that, again, I'm Absolutely April, and I do reality recaps. I do recaps on TV shows, movies. I might throw in some spirituality tips, which I want to do a little bit more of coming up. So definitely stay tuned for that. So if you're new to my channel, if that's some of the things that you like, go ahead and subscribe. And while you're at it, like the video, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified about all of my uploads, and also share it with a friend because sharing is caring. If you are returning, thank you for your support. I appreciate y'all. And what you in your interaction with me does not go unnoticed. I really, really, really appreciate the support. And I thank you for riding with me. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the reunion, y'all. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Can we talk for a minute? So, I'm not a singer, but that's what came up in my spirit. So I wasn't able to find a whole bunch of clips. Unfortunately, some things came up. Let me see. Let me make it a little bigger, I guess. Some of the things came up. This is the crew. Again, it was. I mean, part one. Let's just talk about part one. Some of the things that really came up was, with Kayla. That came up, and then of course, Katie and Sharice had a little altercation. So, and of course, LJ and his sister wives came up. So we'll talk about a little bit of that, and of course, Zoe going off on Sharice. That we'll talk about. We'll get into all of that, and that was part one. Those are the things that really stick out in my mind. And of course, Shakira. So this is how they were set up. I think pretty much everybody looked nice. If I had to rate the dresses and stuff, I would probably say Charisse to me was the best dress. I liked her dress more than anyone on the show. It fit her well. She looked nice in it. The color complemented her skin tone. I really, 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 really liked her. Now I did not like Kadian's because I don't like all the feathers and stuff and the zhuzh around. Like I said, I wasn't really able to find a bunch of pictures and for to talk about some of the things that I was seeing. But Jama looks nice. However, I don't know if it was kind of ill fitting towards the chest area for me, or if it just she didn't have the boobage to support it. But it just overall, I liked her dress. It just the top of it kind of looked weird for me. Trinita looked very nice. It looked great Gatsby like. She looked nice. April, if you remember her, she was the headband wig and she had her headband wig on again. Kayla looked nice. Yeah, she looked nice, but the wig of it all wasn't the best. Brandy also looked nice. I like Brandy's. Brandy, Looney, they look good, but if I had to say one that stood out in the pack was definitely Cherise. Probably my least favorite was definitely Shakira. It looked like something that she may have made herself. I don't really know, but it wasn't given at all reunion type attire. It just did not look good. And that's just how I feel about that. So I can't even tell you where it started. Like I said, I'm just going to talk about some different things and things that stood out. So, Kayla, and I remember Tommy asking about Kayla and Mike and, and Brandy, their whole triangle situation. And, Mike, they asked Kayla if she felt like her relationship or her connection with Mike was not as strong as Brandy. She said she felt like it was just as strong as Brandy, that they shared a connection. And I feel like they really did. And I feel like Mike does downplay his relationship with Kayla a lot. However, I feel like Kayla is kind of being like a little bit delusional about their relationship because, I mean, actions always speak louder than words for me. So whatever Mike was telling you, you also had to see a lot of what Mike was doing in front of everybody. He did not really, say have anything for Kayla. He always professed his attraction and his connection with Brandy. And a lot of times, I feel as women, you also, even though he might be saying a lot of stuff behind closed doors with you, but also look at his actions, and that will tell you a lot of things, a lot of his body language towards you. When Brandy's in the room, he paid Kayla dust. But when they were alone, he did talk to Kayla. So that to me speaks volumes. He was not wanting to claim you in public. You were a afterthought for him. So I feel like Kayla, even though y'all did have a wonderful chemistry, y'all had a lot of physical chemistry, it was, I felt like you put a lot of energy into Mike that you shouldn't have. And it at the end of the day, it makes you look crazy to me. Now, Randall and her, I have a different opinion. I feel like Randall um, didn't know who he wanted at all. Randall just never knew who he wanted. Even though he put a lot of his energy and time with Jamala, I feel like a lot of that, a lot of the connection they had was a lot of Jamala forcing the connection. I don't see where he just automatically gravitated. And like I said in other reviews, I feel like Randall and Jamala smashed. So that was a lot of their pull. Once you smash somebody and y'all's energy intertwine like that, you will have more of a connection. And he didn't, and I don't think him and Kayla got down like that. I think they probably had, a little tension here and there, but I think Jamala and him did, and Randall did the do, which kind of made her, I guess, a little bit more solidified. And then there was always Trinika, there that he also had a great connection with. So that's how I feel about that. I just, even though Kayla and she doesn't want to appear like, oh yeah, I was a pick Misha or whatever. She definitely, in a sense, was. And she played herself. Now, I did hear allegedly that production did not want her to leave. So maybe that was a big issue, that she couldn't just freely leave. I remember either last season or the season before, that you had people who were self-eliminating. So I don't think that was good for the show. So maybe that is true. Maybe they didn't want her to self-eliminate to keep this whole triangle thing between her and Randall and her and Mike kind of going. So I don't really know what was going on with that, but it definitely to me seemed as if Mike and Brandy just had the stronger connection. Now we also saw that Swayze, the finale episode, Swayze and Kadian supposedly broke up. But shortly thereafter, Swayze and Kadian seems to have gotten back together. They are laying on each other in the backstage. They are, you could definitely tell that this is a couple. And also, prior to this, they were all on each other's Instagram, taking pictures and, basically telling everybody that they were still together. So that's no shock there. Now, Kadian and Sharice end up getting into it. These two girls are like oil and water. Kadian says that she was going to slap the sugar honey iced tea out of Sharice. Sharice gets up and is like, slap me then, slap me. So it's a bunch of back and forth. I know I saw on one of the I believe on Sabrina Soul's live where Randall and Samson were on there, and I think Samson kind of alluded to the fact that he felt like Sharice and Kadian were plants. I don't know if they were plants or not, but I don't know. They definitely didn't seem like plants, but I wasn't in the whole situation with them. So maybe that's how they felt. Now, Sharice does get into it a little bit. They talk about the whole interaction between she and Zoe. And Zoe came in with an energy about Sharice that was just like, oh, he was on 1,000 when it came to Sharice. A whole 1,000. He kept every time she said something, he kept saying, "You fake as F, you fake as F, you fake as F." And I'm just like, first of all, she could hardly talk with him saying, that she was fake as F. And to me, more than anything, I was disappointed in Tommy because I felt like Tommy could have neutralized Zoe a little bit more and being respectful. Because a lot of times Tommy said to the women they need to respect each other. When Sharice and Katie got into it, oh, ladies need to be respectful, need to be respectful, need to be respectful. But you didn't say that when Zoe was very clearly disrespectful to Sharice, nor did any other man on the cast say anything to Zoe about being disrespectful to Sharice. So I didn't like that one bit. I feel like, a lot of times, regardless of how we feel about certain things, there should be a level of respect when we are talking to, when the men are talking to the women. Just off of GP. I mean, I get feminism and everything, but I just feel like it's just a way that you speak to a woman, and that's not it. Zoe, for him to have this big $35 million portfolio, whatever he says he has, you fail to communicate, because if that's the only thing you can say about Sharice is her being fake as F, and you couldn't even articulate yourself in a respectful manner, that means that $35 million portfolio means nothing to me, sir. Then he and Swayze get into it backstage because I think Kadian had made a comment about the whole kissing each other situation. Kayla kissing Zoe, which is in turn had caused Mike and Kayla to kind of have a rift. So, Kadian said, you messed it up for Kayla and Mike. And, Zoe kind of, said, well, they should have won the bet. And so Swayze said, if I was old or something like that, and, I probably could have won and blah, blah, blah. And so they had some interchanging back and forth where Swayze was about to get up and fight Zoe. But Zoe didn't want none of that smoke. Zoe sat down there and he did not say not another word. And to the point where he got so bothered that he ends up just go ahead and exit the show altogether. And he says he don't have to deal with this. He got other things going on. So to reference Sabrina Soul's live with Samson and Randall after this part one aired, Randall did say that Zoe always was supposed to leave early, so it wasn't shocking to him that he left, but I am shocked that, Zoe had that much energy for Sharice, a woman, that when it came to him squaring off with another man, he was very, very much silent. So you didn't want to tussle with Swayze, but you definitely want to tussle with a woman. So that right there just makes me, that speaks volumes to me. I don't know what he does in his personal life and how he talks to women, but just that when your feelings are hurt or when you feel inadequate, you lash out. And so I just, no, I would never, ever, after seeing that, I would never date him in my life, because if you do that to Sharice, you'll do that you'll probably do 10 times worse in your private life. And that's just how I feel about Zoe. Shakira, they talked about Shakira and her being a victim, or her whole thing with Katie and, spilling her tea about whatever she went through. And they played it back, and it really showed that Katie did not spill her tea. She just kind of, said, I can understand why Shakira would respond the way she is because of what she's been through. She never spilled her tea, but Shakira was dead set on playing the victim and then at the same time trying to seem like she was unbothered. You were bothered. You were not the victim. She did not spray your tea. They showed you a clip and you still did not double down. You still did not say, oh, maybe I took it wrong. You did not say XYZ. So I apologize. She couldn't even say that. She just wanted to stand 10 toes down and her being a victim as she was on the show. I do feel for her and whatever she went through, but we still don't know what Shakira went through because it was never said. And she kind of, threw shade at Sharice, and she threw shade at some other people. Even Jamila was backstage, was like, oh girl, please. So no one is really here for her antics, and no one is here, with her being a actual victim. No one really is trying to hear what Shakira got to say. And that says a lot. That says a lot. I know Trinika said she interviewed with Little Black Book, and she said, she felt for Shakira and, what she was going through. I know Sharice has even said the same thing with Little Black Book. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, I feel like Shakira puts a lot on this whole Kadian situation, and Kadian really did not say spray her tea. She just kind of empathized with her and alluded to, that she's been through something that may have caused her not to want to be a part of the whole discussion she was having with Mike at the time. So yeah, that was a situation that I'm over Shakira and her issues. Also, as I'm looking at Dominica, first of all, Dominica, girl, I don't know who told you to wear that type of wig with your edges being as sparse as they were, but girl, do not wear no wig like that no more, especially on national TV. It did not look good. It looked like you didn't have not one edge. And I know, girl, you could have found you a full lace wig to put on to kind of cover them edges up. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the best at hair. That's why I go get it done, and I need to get mine done. But I'm just saying, girl, definitely do not go on national TV. And I like Dominica. So Dominica and Mike get into it. She was hurt that Mike, tried to play her to the left. And she did reference that she has the same personality, or she gives off the same energy as Brandy does. A lot of people took it differently as I watched some of the recaps and said that, she shouldn't have compared herself to Brandy. And I get what they were saying, but I think people are missing what she's saying, because Mike said, and I might have brought it up in one of my reviews, that, he didn't like Dominica because he's seen her type before, and that's just not what he's on. And so to me, when Mike said that, he's like, look, I know she's a girl from the hood. I've been with girls from the hood, and I ain't trying to do that no more. You just offer her personality. And Dominica said, she knew, once she got, talked to Mike, she found out that they weren't from the same hood. And she thought that he would have her back a little bit more. Instead, he kind of put her down. And I kind of agree with her in that aspect, and, kind of saying that he alluded to the fact that she was a little ghetto. And then, so I feel in loud and stuff, but as Dominica was saying, like, you're downplaying my personality, kind of saying I'm loud or ghetto, whatever the case may be. When she and Brandy, the person that you really, really like, we kind of have the same personality, and she is right. Now, Brandy, I don't know if it was as loud and in your face. I didn't get that, but they do have similar personalities with, Brandy kind of is a girl. You could tell Brandy was a girl from around the way. She wasn't like a Kayla who came from Jack and Jill. You could tell she was a girl from around the way. And Mike really, really liked her. But the same thing, you can't fault Mike for liking who he likes. You like whoever you like. You're drawn to whoever you're drawn to. He just wasn't drawn to Dominica. And so Dominica proceeded to spray his tea and said that he was hooking up with some girl with the initial J who makes chocolate covered strawberries. Now, go back to the finale. He gives Brandy some chocolate covered strawberries. So it's just like, okay, Mike, what are you really on? And so it's kind of funny that came out. And Dominica, she was like, well, I guess she was like, if you're gonna, have something to say about me, let me put you on blast too. Since you're gonna blast me and call me ghetto, let me put you on blast. Now, should she have? I don't know. Maybe she was trying to make her moment. I'm not really sure. I mean, because she left pretty early, so for her to get on there to really try to spray his tea just because he didn't like her, Mike could not have really been the sounding like, oh, everybody follow Mike. No one had to like you to vote you off. I believe Sharice was also in the bottom when she left. It just came down to maybe the guys were not attracted to you, on top of the fact that they felt you were kind of loud and ghetto. Who knows? But they didn't like you. So sometimes you got to take that on the chin and say, my match was not there. It's somewhere else. But it was good for TV. It definitely was good for TV because now everybody is probably trying to figure out who is this girl with the J who does chocolate covered strawberries? Who is she to Mike? So that was, that was some tea thrown out there, we didn't know about. So that was, it was interesting. So comment down below. Do you think Mike is cheating? Do you think Mike is messing with some girl with the strawberries, with the initial of J? So that was kind of interesting to hear. But I really think Dominica, sometimes your match ain't there. Now I know she said on with Little Black Book, she said that she wanted him to kind of have her back because they were from the same community. That even if we were not going to be a match, that he would have vouched for her. But again, you can't put that on people because everybody don't see it the same way. And so I think they had a heart to heart after reunion, and he told her that he wasn't looking at it like that. Blah blah blah. Dominica, you came and did what you planned to do. You threw that out there on Mike, and now it's up to Mike and Brandon to see what they're gonna do with that bit of information. What else? LJ. They talked to LJ and his sister wives. Him, Trinika, Sharice, and I think Kayla. They said they all have different days with LJ. LJ is just a lovable island boy who just they like to hang out with and go out with it. He's a good time. So that was that on that. So part 2 comes along and we start talking to Samson and talk about Samson and Sharice, and Looney and Justice come up, and also Brandy and Mike, and of course dun 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 Randall, Jamala, Trinika, and Kayla. So let's just start out with Randall, Jamala, Trinika, and Kayla. So, Randall, who has been undecided this whole time, has, you could tell, like, I think I even have a picture of them. Let me see. Yes, this is them right here. They are definitely, you can tell by the body language in this, they are not on the same page at all. They don't see it for each other. But I do believe if Randall said, okay, Jamala, I want to make it work, she would be down for it. And y'all see what I'm talking about in the breast area where it's kind of ill-fitting. I don't know what's going on, but it just didn't, I don't know, maybe it looks better standing up. But anyways, so, Randall and Jamala, I guess they talked about like where they stood now. And, Randall, said they, figuring things out and, they are able to date each other, which seems like it was news to Jamala because she didn't know that, oh, we are dating each other. So now, power cord. Okay. So yeah, so she didn't realize that they weren't exclusive, but Randall, I guess, told her that they on she found out on that stage they were not exclusive. Um, Also, come to find out, he and Kayla, have gone out a few times and stuff. So yeah, there's still the I don't know if it's a triangle as well. It's a triangle now because Trinika says she ain't got nothing to do with that anymore. She's out of that whole situation, and she knows that Randall just wants to date around, and so does she. And they're not trying to be exclusive with each other. So Jamala, clearly has issues with being territorial. I could tell that Randall really didn't want to say yes, but I guess, at the end of the day, Kayla wasn't choosing him specifically. So I guess he had to make a choice. I'm pretty sure he was pressured by production to make a choice. I would have just chosen myself if it were me. But not Randall. He went on and chose Jamala, and here we are. They don't see it. I guess, the door is open, but really ain't open because, look at Randall. He's done with Jamala, and he's gone out with Kayla, and they still have their connection and stuff. Randall just wants to date around. I think Jamala is just, she's bossy. I can see her being bossy. I can see her being, very, I don't know. I just did not see their energy for each other. And I just think that they should just go their separate ways instead of sitting up here saying the door is open. Close the door and keep it moving. Y'all just are not a fix. The whole I love you, olive juice, all that kind of stuff, it just was not it. It just wasn't it. And Randall needs to just admit that and just Randall has an issue with just standing 10 toes down and saying what it is. Like, just say what it is. So, and don't mince your words. If you don't want to be with Jamala, go ahead and tell her. Go ahead and just tell her. If you don't want to be with Kayla, tell her and say what it is and stand 10 toes down in what you're saying. Like, I can't stand a man who's indecisive. Like, he's so indecisive. And then because you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, you don't want to say what it is. And then so yeah, that I just feel like that. Trinika said, he doesn't claim Jamala outside of the show, and I can believe that. I can definitely believe that. He's not claiming Jamala. I don't really have anything else to say. What do y'all think about this whole situation with Randall, Jamala, and Kayla? What do y'all think? Because they got into a little tiff a little bit, she and Kayla. The ladies don't seem to like each other. And Kayla don't see it for Jamala, and Jamala don't see it for Kayla. And when Jamala was talking, Kayla was rolling her eyes and doing all this other stuff. So yeah, I just don't. Yeah, these two are not. They're not it. They're not a match. And Randall shouldn't have chose her from the beginning. So let's see. Back to them. Let's see who else. Justice had all his women. They spoke about Justice not really wanting to spend money on women. So they talked about it and how that made the other women feel. And he said he just wasn't going to put, a lot of energy into somebody and it wasn't going to go anywhere. So he's, that was Justice's reasoning. It just that why did you sign up for this process or why did you do this process and you had to date so many people? He said he didn't want to invite so many energies into his space. He and Looney, I guess, were really close and I guess they were supposedly working out on something and then he just kind of dropped Looney and she felt some type of way. She said she was okay. She, is whatever, but you ain't fine because you over here walking off the stage when, as they were probing, saying, why did you do that to Looney? Why did you do that to Looney? Why did you just ghost her like that? And she couldn't take it, so she walks off the stage. He walks out after her and, tries to talk to her. She needs a moment. So Justice comes back and says, he just, wanted to see, get out of the whole process and then, see where things goes with, with him and Looney. And he needed that time and space. Now, did he communicate that properly to Looney? Probably not, because the way he's saying it on stage, it just did not resonate. I guess it did not resonate to her like that. It just felt like, I guess he ghosted her or just didn't want to talk to her no more. So she blocks him on social media, and and don't take his phone calls, so he can talk to her and try to pursue her. So after a while, they get to talk, and he says, "I do want to take you out. I want to see where this goes," and that just melts all of the coldness in her heart towards him, and they decide to possibly pursue something after, to see where it goes between them. And I wish them luck. And hopefully, he spends some money on you, child. You ain't the only one spending money. Or you going on cheap dates to his restaurants. I hope the best for y'all. Cause, as the reunion went on, she had him by the arm. So that's all Looney needed was, for him to say, I do like you and I want to take you out. Girl, okay. I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Samson and Sharice. I Samson is to me like some guy. He first of all he says he's in a relationship, and he realized that the girl at his church, after this whole process, like immediately after he gets into a relationship. So you was not invested in Sharice at all if that person was on standby this whole time from your church. So why are you in this process and you don't want to be in a relationship, or you weren't really trying to pursue anything? So he just seemed like Samson to me seemed unavailable from the beginning. They talked about him giving presents to everybody. Sharice said, I didn't feel special. And he says he did. But he's not going to say it the way she wants him to say it, like, you're my strongest connection. But she just wanted to be chose. She wanted to feel like, okay, I am different from the other girls that you're giving presents to, that I am, he says, yeah, I was the one talking to you all the time. And she was like, well, people saying that you talking to them all the time. Samson is not a good communicator. He's supposed to be a life coach. I would never go to Samson because first of all, you're not a good communicator. And then I don't know. He just seems very judgmental. When he and Sharice had their issues, that's when you wanted to bring out all the issues about her and, try to downplay her and make her feel bad and talking about, I was the one who looked past that. Like you were God's gift to somebody. Like, it's just, I don't like his arrogance. I don't like him, his judgmental, him being so judgmental. He is not a guy that I would want to be. He just seems like he would be, and I hate to put the A word out there, but he just seemed like he would be, he's emotionally unavailable. Let's say it like that. He's emotionally unavailable, which would then cause issues in, how our relationship would progress, because you're not emotionally available. I don't know exactly where you're coming from. I'm trying to, you're trying to play mental gymnastics with me where I'm trying to always second guess or try to, read through the lines of what you're saying. Like that's too much. That's too much in a relationship. He think he's smarter than everybody else. Swayze did say, so kind of alluded to it in the in backstage when they were looking at on to the segment, and they were saying, Samson was saying, using all these words, and he was like, Samson always be trying to use these big words, just say what you mean. So, and I don't think it's just like, well, Swayze is just a regular guy. He's he don't play fancy stuff with him. He just like, he's a regular guy. Samson tries to, he's a Morehouse man through and through. He is a Morehouse man through and through. And no disrespect to any of the Morehouse men, if you're watching this, or people who are married to Morehouse men, or, in relationships. It's just, I don't know. They just breed Morehouse men in a different way, in my opinion. The quote is, you can tell a Morehouse man, but you can't tell him much. So you could definitely tell a Morehouse man from a different man, but you really can't tell him much. Like they just have this like, superiority type complex. I don't know. It's just, I've dealt with a few and it's always been the same. And, it's no love lost. I just, I'm just always, when I find out someone's from Morehouse and they show those characteristics, I'm like, oh, well, yeah, I get it. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's a lot going on. Samson just, he comes across as a nice guy, but he's really like the bad guy. It's like he's, and I don't want to say bad as in like he's the one that you be like, oh God, I could bring him home to mama, I could bring him home to daddy, I can really show him off. He treats me like a queen, but then and hide, behind the doors, he's being passive aggressive with you, making little jabs at you, and you start second guessing yourself, and then next thing you know, you just kind of like, do you like me? Like that's what I get from him. So yeah, I wish any woman who's with Samson the best, honestly. Um, and who else? Let's see. Who else am I missing? I think I pretty much April and the guy Calvin who left early, headband wig and the guy who left early. He left at the mixer. They exchanged phone numbers, so yeah, that's cute. Swayze and Kadian, they're still together. They're together. They talked about, they had to overcome some relationships, and he said, Swayze said, I knew, she really liked me when she called me after the process was over, like right after that whole little that scene that they did breaking up. She called him right after, and she realized how much she liked him. So yeah, that's that on that. Um, Mike and Brandy are clearly still together. She seems very smitten with him. I don't know about the lady with the strawberries, but it looks like she gonna stick beside him. So that's cute. Yeah, it was an overall decent reunion. We're gonna see what the next season gonna bring. I don't know if they're still in Miami or not, but we're gonna see what the next season. The casting needs to do better. Production needs to do better with the editing. Um, honestly, you know, Tommy needs to do better with the hosting, as far, especially at these reunions. He needs to hold people's feet to the fire, and just the same as he would the women, you also need to hold the men accountable as well. A lot of things are going out saying about Tommy is partial to his frat brothers, and I know Zoe is a Kappa. I don't know if there was another Kappa on stage. Samson, I don't know if Samson was or not. He might be. So yeah, there's a lot of Kappas that have been on this show. So I don't know. I know Will Packer is the alpha, so I don't think that has anything to do with it. But maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I'm kind of over Tommy as the host. I wish they had another host. To me, or maybe he needs a co-host, a female co-host, to kind of keep him, keep it balanced, so to speak. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling. How did y'all like the reunion? That's my take on part one and part two. And I don't really have anything else to say. I'm kind of glad this whole season is over. It's a wrap. And we'll see, we will see stuff come out about these couples a lot, coming out soon. So I'm pretty sure is who make up the breakups, or makeups, breakups, all that kind of stuff, babies, marriages. We'll see. It'll come out, because I think Joy and Clifton from last season, they're now engaged. So there's you hear things, and what's her name? Of course, we know the debacle between Dante and Alicia. And I think Sabrina from last season and Walter from the season before, they're together now. So that's another couple. And Liz and I forget his name, Jason, they broke up, of course. So, the stuff starts to come out, as it progresses. So we'll see, and I'll try to keep everybody updated on the tea as it relates to Ready to Love. But this season is a wrap for Married to Medicine, and Oh my God, not Ready to Love. This season is a wrap for Ready to Love in Miami. It's supposed a new season will be out in January, so your girl will be here having her comments, and we'll see what happens. So if you made it this far and you like the content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, get me in the algorithm, and also the notification bell so you'll be notified about all of my uploads. So it's your girl, Absolutely April, and I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.